So I wanted to take a few minutes with this video to talk about 4 interesting PlayStation 5 stories, and if you could hit that like button on the video, thank you to those that do it, and as always, it's very much appreciated. Now, the stories I wanted to dive into today include Sony's first FPS title in a long time, getting its first reveal and release date, Spider-Man 2 tease, PS3 emulation news that's great and exciting for me, and Last of Us 3 possible first information. First, are you getting Forspoken or not? We're getting closer and closer to January, and another big PlayStation exclusive is almost upon us with Forspoken, of course. In that month, we're also getting the likes of Dead Space, the Dead Space remake as well. I asked the question on Twitter, which one would people rather get, Dead Space or Forspoken, and Dead Space was the clear winner, I'm assuming because of the demo, but I'm curious where you guys land here on my YouTube channel. So comment below, yes or no, are you getting Forspoken or not? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, diving into the first story of the video, Last of Us Part 3 possible first information. Reading from Press Start, speaking to the New Yorker's Alex Barash, hopefully I said that correctly, recently Naughty Dog co-president and the Last of Us creator Neil Druckmann speaks at length about the impending HBO adaptation premiering January 16th, the history of video game to screen adaptations in general, and the success of The Last of Us. The whole article is well worth the read, but it's this particular piece's closing statement that's sure to have fans trying to predict the future of Druckmann's and Naughty Dog's video game output. In the final paragraph, it's revealed that the studio's next project will not only be structured more like a TV show, but will be born of an entire writer's room. His next project, he revealed, was a game that was structured more like a TV show than anything else Naughty Dog has made, for which he'd taken a highly unusual step. He wasn't writing the script alone or with a single partner, he was assembling a writer's room. So this right off the bat created a bit of a stir on the internet about a possible episodic approach for Neil's next game, but Neil responded to this situation stating this on Twitter: "I'm sure no one will misconstrue what this means. Spoiler, it's about making our games in an even more collaborative manner. Stoked to show you our project as soon as we can." So this seems to be more of a focus on the fact that he's getting a writer's room instead of writing the story himself or with a partner, which has been the case for past titles. That's what he means by the TV show reference, not that it'll be episodic, is what I'm getting from here and from his reply, obviously. Neil's next title is rumored to be Last of Us Part 3, but the studio is also rumored to be working on a new IP, which will probably be the next game out of the studio before Last of Us Part 3, I think. And it could possibly be revealed next year, but let's see how it goes. Now, diving into the second story of the video, Spider-Man 2 tease. So this is a quick story, but considering we haven't really been getting anything for Spider-Man 2, I thought I'd cover it. Miles had his own game with Spider-Man Miles Morales, of course, and in that game, Peter left the city, and it was up to Miles to be the main Spider-Man. He is Spider-Man, and to watch over and save the city. Of course, Miles runs into a big bad, defeats the villain, and saves the city. I personally didn't think about how much of the city, New York, he saved, but recently, Najee Jeter, Miles himself, posted an image on Instagram, and in that image, it contained the following quote: "What do you do when you're alone on Christmas? You save the world." In that image, you also have Miles Morales, the game, in the background at the start menu. Someone in the Instagram comments replied to this post saying, "If you want to get technical, Miles only saved Harlem, but close enough." Najee replied to this, I said tweet in my notes here, but it's actually this post on Instagram saying, "Just wait." So this is obviously him hinting at Spider-Man 2 and how Miles will be saving more than just Harlem this time around, of course, which makes sense since he'll be with Peter now fighting one of the biggest Spider-Man villains in Spider-Man history with Venom. I'm personally excited to see how big of a battle this is, but we honestly need a new trailer. I hope that comes soon enough, but you guys let me know if you think we'll get a new trailer for Spider-Man 2 in early 2023 or not. Let me know down in the comments below. Honestly, we better get a new trailer. The game comes out fall 2023. We better get a new trailer early next year. Now, diving into the third story of the video, PS3 emulation news. So this was exciting news for me that I wanted to cover. On this channel, we talk about things that not everyone usually talks about, like Fidelity FX Super Resolution, which we've talked about since last year with the 1.0 1.0 version and 2.0 this year, and next year we'll cover the 3.0, the new iteration, its benefits, the tests that come along with it, and the games that potentially will get it later on next year. But emulation is another hot topic for me to see its evolution. On the PlayStation 5 itself, things have gotten ridiculous and painfully obvious. I said this on a recent podcast when discussing the emulation that Sony offers, not my own podcast, so I didn't start my own podcast, guys. It was somebody else's. Going forward, I would not put any hope on PlayStation 2 titles to land on PlayStation 5. Sony clearly only has emulation set up and working for PS1 and PSP games to be played locally. They're not working on their PlayStation 2 emulation process, and a clear example of that is with the Sly Cooper and Ratchet & Clank series, the PlayStation 2 titles that were thrown into the premium service on streaming only for the PlayStation 3. There are the PlayStation 3 versions of these games, and they put them on the service as just streaming only. They didn't give us the PlayStation 2 versions, so that's probably because they wanted to have trophy support, which is great, but you guys could have also included the PlayStation 2 versions of these games, and you could have probably done that if you were working on the PlayStation 2 emulator. As for the PlayStation 3, the current understanding is that Sony has a working PlayStation 3 emulator, but it only works for some games and doesn't work as well as the Xbox emulation situation, as in games here will run at 720p 30 fps, for example, and Sony doesn't want that, doesn't want to release that. When on the Xbox side, you have these games running upscaled 4K. Of course, they don't want that. I believe they will have it working in the future at some point, and things like RPC S3 gives me hope because of their latest piece of news. The official account recently tweeted this out. We are delighted to announce that as of today, the RPC S3 loadable compatibility category has reached 0 games. This means there are no PlayStation 3 games left that boot to a black screen on the emulator. Every PlayStation 3 game, at the very least, boots and shows an image output. Happy holidays. They have managed to get every PlayStation 3 game to at least boot an image. That's a big accomplishment considering how hard PS3 emulation is. Beyond that, they have nearly 70% of PlayStation 3 games playable from end to end. That's huge as well. This is great news to me, and I personally hope that some of this assists Sony in some way to speed up their emulation process. There's clearly something being done here right with this team and this project. And now diving into the final story of the video, Sony's first FPS title in a long time and its possible release date information. So this has been a long time coming. We've been waiting to see Sony return to the FPS realm, and it's looking like we might actually see the first glimpse of that in 2023. Reading from PC Game About, Death Stranding 2 and an as of yet unnamed shooter from Sony will reportedly be released in 2024. Information about this was highlighted in the profile of the senior artist of PlayStation Studios Visual Arts characters, Frank Aliberti, on the ArtStation website, who managed to work on both titles. The upcoming first-person shooter mentioned on Aliberti's page is most likely engaged in Firewalk Studios, which concluded an exclusive agreement with Sony Interactive Entertainment in 2021 to release its first AAA class multiplayer game under its wing. Now, one thing I'll add here is that this could also be Deviation Games' title, which is another studio Sony is working with, which is ran by ex-Call of Duty writer Dave Anthony, since Jason Blundell left. But Dave Anthony was a part of the writing for Black Ops 1, 2, and 4, and Call of the Dead Zombies. And there's a lot of FPS developers on that team as well. Deviation Games' title was also rumored for 2024 already, and it seems like that rumor possibly has now been confirmed based off the senior artist's profile. Their title is potentially, Deviation Games' title is potentially said to be a world-class FPS title that is set to be supported for years to come via campaign expansions and multiplayer modes for competitive and casual players. So it could be Firewalk Studios, but it's probably the Deviation Games title. I'm excited to see it revealed regardless of which studio is working on it, and its potential reveal in 2023. Whenever Sony drops their next showcase, it seems like a good chunk of games might show up there. But you guys let me know if you're excited for this upcoming FPS title or not. Let me know down in the comments below. And if you guys did enjoy this video, please hit that like button, as it always helps. So subscribe if you're new. I got new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one. And welcome back to the after show. This is the part of the video where we have a little fun down in the comments below. If you're old, welcome back. If you're new, welcome. For today's thing, what I want you guys to do is the body, obliterate, destroy, and overall harass the comment section with "It's almost the new year." 2023 is almost upon us. Big games set to come out next year, and big games set to be revealed next year as well. If you're excited for all of that, destroy the comment section with "It's almost the new year," and I'll definitely heart those comments like I always do because I appreciate everybody who stays to the end of my videos. And now I'll check you guys out on the next one.